Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a really quick tutorial video. I've had a couple of people ask me how I make my multicolored signs that I do for some clients. So figured I'd throw together this quick video to kind of lay out the process. If you have any questions whatsoever about the process that I didn't cover or that you don't understand, just leave a comment below and I make sure that I answer any comment and get back to you as soon as possible. All right. Let's get to it. First thing I do is take the design to my CNC machine, and I use several different varieties of material. MDF is certainly an easy one to work with. It's not super expensive, and it does really well on these types of signs. Obviously, if it's one that's going to be outside or something, you'd probably want to use something different, or at least get it sealed to where it wouldn't be damaged by the weather. But anyway, so it's going to cut that out. The initial pocket that I make, this is where I'm going to pour the base layer, which is going to be my main background color, which in this instance on this logo is going to be gray. So I calculate my epoxy out. I mix most of my epoxy for these sign pours by hand. I don't mix with a drill until I do bigger pours like for tables and stuff. But you basically just, you know, the instructions will tell you to mix it for 5-6 minutes or whatever. I never do. I simply mix it until it becomes clear, because once you start mixing it, you'll get this cloudy film. And then once it's actually mixed thoroughly, you're good. It'll be clear. And I'm using some black pigment and some white pigment. I've actually ordered some gray. This is the first time I've made this sign for this client. I've made several other signs for them, but this is the first time I've made this particular one, and it required gray. I did not have a good gray color that matched the logo, so this took a little trial and error here, but I actually mixed it up and matched it with black and white. I use the white liquid pigment, and then of course like the mica powder black. I'm mixing two of these up, and I'm going to pour them together once I get them all mixed. Anytime you're doing signs or any epoxy for that matter like this, you don't want to pour directly from the same container that you've mixed in. Especially you don't want to scrape the sides of that container. You'll wind up with some unmixed material, and wherever it's not mixed properly, it's not going to cure properly, and you can have some soft spots in your work. So make sure you mix them into a bigger container, and then simply just pour it out. And what I find with these pours of this size and this depth, you don't typically have to go over more than one time with the torch to pop the bubbles afterwards. Plus mixing by hand will cause less bubbles to be in your mix anyway. So I simply just pour this out to right about the level of it, maybe just overflowing slightly, because epoxy will shrink as it cures. And then probably one of the most satisfying things is this right here, when you get to come back with the torch and watch all these bubbles pop. So satisfying. But anyway, like I said, typically one time with this. You can also use a heat gun if you don't have a torch. It works the same. Basically, when you're done with that, the next thing we are going to do is come in and carve in our next tool path. This is made up of several different tool paths, and you have to let the epoxy dry in between each one. The sponsor of today's video is High-Tech Ad Specialties. These folks are great. They are here in Rome, Georgia, and have been in business for over 20 years. They are the premier source for all of your promotional products and offer a wide range of classic promotional items such as hats, shirts, hoodies, awards, business cards, pins, koozies, and so much more. Navigate over to their website here at hightechadspecialties.com. You can explore custom printing ideas, several different promotional items, just a ton of stuff that is available. They also offer embroidering, digital printing, which you can see on my shirts here at STL Woodworking, and sublimation, screen printing, engraving, as well as logo creation from one of their amazing designers. So if you have a need for any of these products, or if you have an upcoming event like a wedding, a family reunion, some kind of a business event, they can facilitate everything you need. If you want to check them out, I'm going to leave a link in the description below. Feel free to give them a call and get you a quote, and come back and visit their website at any time. All right, back to the video. So basically here it's carving out my next tool path. Like I said, there are several different tool paths in this. I try to keep them to the same color resin that I'm going to pour, if at all possible. There's some signs that I just can't do that, unfortunately, but luckily with this one I was able to break it down to where I only had to pour each color one time. Just a few shots of it going here. You can see epoxy is definitely a mess, so just be prepared if this is something you're going to do. I have some little issues here with the spindle, but I wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like just without the vacuum attached. Of course, it is going to make a mess, but that's completely fine. This is a 60-degree V-bit. This is what I use for all the edges of the design, the lettering, and everything. Once the initial bulk of the material is cleared, it comes back and kind of shapes up the edges of everything, and then finishes carving out the entire design. I don't typically do any kind of instructional videos on how to operate a CNC. As a matter of fact, I really don't do a lot of CNC related material on my channel. If you would like to see more, I'd be more than happy to. I just don't, because these tool paths do typically take a long time to run, and a lot of people don't like watching them. So if you'd like to see that, comment below and I can help with that. But as far as tutorials go with different software, there's plenty to be seen. This is what it looks like once I've pocketed out everything for black. This is going to be my black pour. So everything you saw that was carved out in that photo is actually going to be filled with black epoxy. And this is what it looks like when it's completely done. Now it is overflowing onto the gray, yes, but I'm going to come back and surface that, and you'll see that here in a second. So basically this is what's going on here. I have a surfacing bit in my router, and it goes back and forth on a toolpath that I create and surfaces just about a 1/16 or so, maybe less, off the top. So you can kind of see it fall into the background, but what it does is it removes that excess on top of the work and allows me to actually surface everything smooth, and the colors will actually pop and the lines are clean. There you saw I did not record the other tool paths on here, but they work the same way, just with different colors. And then now once I'm done, I come over to my router table, and I have tabs on mine. This is how I get rid of tabs on my work, is I use this bit here. It's just a flush trim bit in my router table, and I get rid of all of the tabs on the side. Then I just simply wipe it off, go and set it up on a flat surface, which you'll see here in a few minutes, and then I come back and I mix my epoxy that's going to go over the top. All of that cloudiness you saw will go away once I pour this clear coat over the top. Mix it the same way as I did the other one. It just stays clear, and then basically just pour it on. I go ahead and I wipe down the sides. It kind of makes it flow over the sides a little easier, and then I just use a scraper and spread it around and then push it over the sides so it flows, and that's it. Then I'll hit it with a torch again, and it's done. It just has to dry, and this is what the finished product will look like. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, comment below, and we'll see you in the next video.